Joining us via Skype is Julie Gunlock, our friend and director of the Center for Progress and Innovation at Independent Women's Forum. Welcome, Julie.
Hey there. Good to be on.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Julie, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
We saw in the news recently that some people are proposing we make Santa gender neutral. Can you tell us where this is coming from?
First, I have to roll my eyes in a serious way
That's
because
cross-eyed.
it's another. Yeah, I know. I think I did a cross-eyed. This is another one of these issues that make me scratch my head. Yeah. So there was a poll done about whether people thought Santa. I love the picture that IWF put up of like this sort of millennial hipster Santa Claus figure there. There was a poll done asking if people wanted more of a gender neutral Santa figure. I'm not quite sure how you pull this off since Santa is. There's no question. I mean, this is a figure that is based on an actual person, Dutch stories that came to the United States in the 1700s. So I'm not sure how you suddenly decide he's gender neutral, since, again, it is a historical figure. It's like saying we should have a gender neutral first president of the United States. I mean, George Washington was a person. He's a historical figure. So this is where it gets kind of silly. I will say, I think some of these stories are manufactured outrage. I don't think really there's this huge call for a gender neutral Santa. I mean, yes, there are some people calling for that, but these, there are going to be kind of strange people in every society who call for weird things. So it's out there. I doubt it will really take hold.
As you said, it might be fake outrage, and I think it's people sometimes or news stories trying to look for clickbait and say, oh, the snowflake agenda. However, I do see something of value in here in my own story. You know, when I go to Macy's and I take my son to see Santa Claus to take a picture, I do ask for a black Santa because sometimes I want my son to see certain images of positivity where he sees something that looks like him. And I remember some people were outraged by that. And my argument to them was like, look, yes, Santa Claus is based on Kris Kringle, not St. Nicholas, to a Dutch pagan tradition and not Christian tradition. So I think, therefore, we have a right to mold Santa Claus on how we want to envision Santa Claus. But to your point, I think this is manufactured outrage. And if someone wants to have a gender neutral Santa, they have the right to do so. But it doesn't have to be forced upon other people.
Sure. I mean, if this is something that really, you think is valuable to your child to have a Santa that more reflects the way he looks, that's fine. I don't want to dismiss your feelings, but I try to teach my kids not to be concerned about things like that, that not everyone is going to look like you and not every tradition is going to necessarily fit your traditions. When they sing, the Jewish Hanukkah song in school, my kids love it and enjoy it and don't feel that it has to necessarily reflect our Catholic traditions. Mm-hmm. And so, again, I think that we live in a culture now where everybody should feel comfortable. I think it's also valuable to teach your kids that sometimes when things don't really reflect maybe their family or the traditions they grew up with, I think it's more valuable to teach them how to cope with that and how to deal with that, and maybe not to demand things change to make them feel more comfortable.
It's funny you say that because right now, like I have a young son, and I've been debating with my wife, like, should we continue the whole Santa Claus tradition? Because it's really mom and dad are Santa Claus, and every time we look at our American Express bill, so it's interesting. I think this is a debate on multiple levels that a lot of people are dealing with. But I agree with your points, though, and I think, like you said, I think it might just be manufactured. And at the end of the day, celebrate your holidays and celebrate Christmas how you want to celebrate.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, look, at the end of the day, he still is a fable, right? He doesn't actually go. Sorry to bust your bubble, Landon and Julie, but he doesn't actually go. Sorry, Santa, but he doesn't actually go to every house on the rooftop. So if he's a fictionalized character that, yes, maybe he originated in pagan, white culture, but he's still fiction.
Right.
I feel like you should be able to apply the fiction in whatever way that you want.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
But I do agree that, the fiction is that he's a male character. So it's like you're going to have a gender neutral Snow White or Rapunzel. Like those are female fictionalized characters.
I mean, I get it, but, in the in the recent, I think Wreck-It Ralph, she says all the, like, oh, does a prince save you? And she's like, why does a prince have to save me? I'm a princess of my own, right? I can save myself. But I think we all agree here. At the end of the day, it's about what makes your family happy on the holidays. To me, my mom called me today. She's like, son, make sure you pick up the turkey, brine it for me. I'm going to make the stuffing. I'm making German chocolate cake. It's the traditions of your family. And at the end of the day, it's how you want to celebrate your holidays and your Christmas. And that's why from here, I think me and Carrie can both say, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to everybody out there, and celebrate it with your family and friends as best as you can.
Yeah, I agree. I think, though, that we do have to recognize that in our culture, there is a push to destroy certain, and not to be overly dramatic, but to destroy certain traditions that are much loved that may not fit in with today's more modern woke culture. And that truly bothers me. Look, I think that there are certain things that aren't really up for debate. I think that Santa's a man. This to me is like sort of goofy and a waste of time. And again, I feel like so much of these social justice issues don't actually focus on real issues, real serious concerns, but they tend to devolve. It's sort of like PETA, they used to be sort of a respected animal rights organization, and now they say you're racist if you drink milk. Who knew, right? Or if you eat meat, you're going to have trouble in bed. I mean, they become a laughingstock, and I think there is something noble in caring about social justice issues, but too often they focus on such small things that they become laughingstocks.
Well, yeah, I think the more important issue with Santa is whether children are able to celebrate and making sure that we're providing for needy children and donating, whether that's coats or toy drives,
in
absolutely. Your local community. We hope that all our viewers will help the less fortunate. You be the Santa.
One thing I've always laughed about, just as an internal joke, what happened if Santa is lactose intolerant this whole time, and we always leave with milk and cookies, and he just drinks it because he knows the kids leave it. He's like, my God, I need almond milk. So someone told me that, and I was cracking up laughing. But Julie, like I said,
that's a great point. I mean, think of how insensitive we've all been over these years, giving him, carb-filled sugar cookies and milk. We haven't even asked if he can tolerate that.
Santa's diabetic because he eats the cookies and milk for the children that he loves.
Yes, the hegemonic, lactose-loving hordes.
But Julie, like I said before, thank you for speaking on this topic. And in some points we disagree and we agree on a lot of other things. But I think, like you said, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and your family.
We can all agree that Christmas is expensive, Landon. I'm totally with you.
Okay. Thanks, Julie. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.